Ultralearning, Master Hard Skills, Outsmart the Competition, and Accelerate Your Career by Scott Young is a book that delves into the concept of self-directed, aggressive learning strategies designed to help individuals rapidly master hard skills. Scott Young draws on both personal experiences and a wealth of research to illustrate how anyone can implement ultralearning techniques to achieve exceptional results. The book starts by exploring the fundamental principles of ultralearning, emphasizing the importance of self-directed learning projects and the need for intense focus. It discusses how to create effective learning environments, optimize mental and physical energy, and maintain motivation throughout the learning process. Young also highlights the significance of understanding the meta-learning process, learning how to learn. He suggests breaking down complex skills into manageable chunks, practicing retrieval and application to enhance retention, and leveraging immediate feedback to correct errors quickly. Another key aspect of ultralearning is the emphasis on directness, which involves engaging with the real-world context of the skill being learned as much as possible. This approach ensures that the knowledge and skills acquired are directly applicable and relevant. The book is filled with real-life examples of ultralearners who have achieved remarkable feats, such as learning new languages in months, mastering programming skills without formal education, or rapidly acquiring expertise in highly technical fields. These examples serve to inspire and demonstrate the practical application of ultralearning principles. In addition, Scott Young offers practical advice on designing and executing personal ultralearning projects, setting clear goals, tracking progress, and adjusting strategies based on outcomes. He also addresses common challenges and obstacles that learners might face and provides strategies to overcome them. Overall, ultralearning serves as a comprehensive guide for anyone looking to accelerate their learning process, develop new skills quickly, and gain a competitive edge in their personal and professional lives. Scott Young is a Canadian author, entrepreneur, and productivity expert known for his deep dive into learning and skill acquisition. He gained significant attention for his self-directed MIT Challenge, where he completed the entire 4-year MIT computer science curriculum in just 1 year without attending the actual university. This project showcased his ability to rapidly learn complex subjects through unconventional methods. Young's background includes a degree in business from the University of Manitoba, but his interests have always leaned towards self-education and the optimization of learning techniques. He has written extensively on topics such as productivity, learning strategies, and personal development on his blog, which has attracted a large following. In Ultralearning, Young distills his experiences and insights into a structured approach that others can replicate. His work emphasizes the power of self-motivated, intense learning efforts and aims to help individuals master hard skills quickly and effectively. Beyond his writing, Young is a sought-after speaker and consultant, sharing his knowledge on how to accelerate learning and achieve personal and professional goals. His work has been featured in various media outlets, and he continues to explore new frontiers in learning and personal development. In the foreword of Ultralearning by Scott Young, James Clear, author of Atomic Habits, introduces the book by emphasizing its practical significance and transformative potential. Clear admires Scott Young's dedication to self-directed learning and highlights the importance of mastering new skills in today's rapidly changing world. Clear underscores the essence of ultralearning, an aggressive, self-directed learning approach that Scott Young has mastered and is now sharing with readers. He points out that ultralearning is not just about acquiring knowledge, but about applying it effectively to solve real-world problems and achieve personal and professional goals. James Clear appreciates the structured methodology presented in the book, which is grounded in both scientific research and Scott Young's personal experiences. He notes that ultralearning provides readers with actionable strategies and practical advice that can be implemented immediately. In summary, Clear praises ultralearning for its comprehensive and insightful approach to learning, encouraging readers to embrace the principles outlined in the book to enhance their own learning journeys and unlock new opportunities for growth and success. In Chapter 1 of Ultralearning, titled Can You Get an MIT Education Without Going to MIT?, Scott Young recounts his ambitious project to complete the entire 4-year MIT computer science curriculum in just 1 year, without enrolling in the university. This chapter serves as a compelling introduction to the concept of ultralearning and illustrates the power of self-directed, intensive learning efforts. Young begins by describing his fascination with the idea of acquiring a world-class education without the traditional constraints of time and cost. He explains how he meticulously planned his MIT challenge using freely available online resources such as lecture notes, assignments, and exams provided by MIT's OpenCourseWare. His goal was to pass the same exams and complete the same assignments as MIT students, adhering to the same rigorous standards. The chapter highlights several practical nuggets that readers can apply to their own learning endeavors. 1. Set clear goals. Young emphasizes the importance of having a clear and specific goal. For his MIT challenge, the goal was to pass the exams for 33 MIT courses within a year. This clarity helped him stay focused and motivated throughout the process. 2. Break down the learning process. He breaks down the curriculum into manageable chunks, creating a detailed study plan that outlines what he needs to learn and when. This structured approach ensures steady progress and prevents overwhelm. 3. Active learning. Instead of passively consuming information, Young engages in active learning techniques. He takes notes, solves problems, and applies concepts in practical ways. This hands-on approach enhances understanding and retention. 4. Feedback and iteration. Young continuously tests his knowledge by taking practice exams and completing assignments. He uses feedback from these tests to identify areas of weakness and refine his study methods. 5. Utilize available resources. He leverages a variety of free resources, including textbooks, online lectures, forums, and study groups. This diverse range of materials helps him gain a deeper understanding of complex topics. 6. Intense focus. Young dedicates long hours to his studies, often working in deep focus sessions. This intense concentration allows him to absorb and process information more efficiently. 7. Adaptability. Throughout the challenge, Young remains flexible and adapts his strategies based on what works best. He experiments with different study techniques and adjusts his approach as needed. The chapter concludes with Young reflecting on the success of his MIT challenge. He not only completed the curriculum, but also gained a profound understanding of computer science. This experience reinforces the idea that with the right approach, dedication, and resources, it's possible to achieve extraordinary learning outcomes outside traditional educational institutions. By sharing his journey, Scott Young inspires readers to embrace the principles of ultralearning and apply them to their own pursuits. He demonstrates that with determination and the right strategies, anyone can achieve a high level of mastery in any subject, regardless of their starting point. In Chapter 2 of Ultralearning, titled Why Ultralearning Matters, Scott Young delves into the significance of ultralearning in our rapidly evolving world. He articulates why mastering the skill of learning itself is crucial for personal and professional growth, and how it can provide a competitive edge in various fields. Young begins by discussing the changing landscape of work and education. He highlights how traditional education systems and career paths are becoming less relevant in the face of technological advancements and shifting job markets. In this context, the ability to learn new skills quickly and effectively has become a vital asset. Here are several practical nuggets from this chapter that illustrate why ultralearning is essential and how it can be applied. 1. Accelerated learning. Young explains that ultralearning allows individuals to acquire new skills at an accelerated pace. This can lead to faster career advancement, as one can adapt to new roles and responsibilities more swiftly than those relying solely on traditional learning methods. Cost-effective education. By leveraging free or low-cost resources available online, ultralearners can obtain high-quality education without the financial burden of traditional schooling. This democratizes access to knowledge and skills, making it possible for anyone to learn anything from anywhere. 3. Adaptability. The ability to learn quickly and effectively makes individuals more adaptable in the face of change. As industries evolve and new technologies emerge, those who can swiftly acquire relevant skills are better positioned to thrive. 4. Competitive edge. Ultralearners often gain a significant competitive edge in the job market. Employers value candidates who can demonstrate a proven ability to learn complex skills independently and apply them in practical contexts. 5. Intellectual fulfillment. Beyond professional benefits, ultralearning can also lead to greater intellectual fulfillment. The process of mastering challenging subjects can be deeply rewarding and can foster a lifelong love of learning. 6. Problem-solving skills. Ultralearning enhances critical thinking and problem-solving skills. By engaging deeply with material and applying it in various ways, ultralearners develop a more nuanced understanding of their subjects, enabling them to tackle complex problems more effectively. Young illustrates these points with real-life examples of ultralearners who have achieved remarkable feats, such as learning new languages, mastering technical skills, and excelling in creative fields. These stories serve to inspire and demonstrate the practical application of ultralearning principles. The chapter also addresses common misconceptions about learning. Young debunks the myth that talent alone determines success, emphasizing that deliberate practice and effective learning strategies play a crucial role. He argues that anyone can become an ultralearner with the right mindset and approach. In conclusion, Chapter 2 of Ultralearning underscores the importance of becoming an effective learner in today's fast-paced world. Scott Young provides compelling arguments and practical insights to encourage readers to embrace ultralearning and unlock their full potential. By mastering the art of learning, individuals can achieve their personal and professional goals, stay competitive, and find greater satisfaction in their intellectual pursuits. In Chapter 3 of Ultralearning, titled How to Become an Ultralearner, Scott Young outlines the core principles and strategies that anyone can adopt to master the art of ultralearning. He breaks down the ultralearning process into actionable steps, offering readers a practical guide to embarking on their own ultralearning projects. Young begins by introducing the concept of metalearning, or learning about how to learn. He emphasizes the importance of understanding the subject, setting clear objectives, and developing a strategic plan before diving into the learning process. Here are several practical nuggets from this chapter. 1. Define your project. Start by clearly defining what you want to achieve. This includes setting specific, measurable goals and determining the scope of your learning project. For example, if you want to learn a new language, specify the level of proficiency you aim to reach and the time frame for achieving it. 2. Research your subject. Before you start learning, gather as much information as possible about the subject. Identify key concepts, essential resources, and the best learning methods. Young suggests looking at syllabi from reputable courses, reading introductory books, and exploring online resources. 3. Create a learning plan. Develop a detailed plan that outlines what you need to learn and when. Break down the subject into manageable chunks and create a timeline for covering each area. This plan should include milestones and regular check-ins to track your progress. 4. Focus on direct learning. Engage directly with the material you want to master. Instead of passively consuming information, actively practice and apply what you're learning. For example, if you're learning to code, spend more time writing and debugging code rather than just reading about it. 5. Drill down on weaknesses. Identify your weak areas and spend extra time improving them. Use targeted drills and exercises to address specific skills or concepts that you find challenging. This focused practice helps to strengthen your overall understanding and performance. 6. Practice retrieval. Regularly test yourself on the material you're learning. Practice retrieval enhances long-term retention and helps solidify your knowledge. Use flashcards, quizzes, or practice exams to reinforce your memory. 7. Embrace feedback. Seek feedback from various sources to improve your learning process. This could include self-assessment, peer reviews, or input from experts. Constructive feedback helps you identify mistakes and refine your techniques. 8. Stay motivated. Maintaining motivation is crucial for long-term projects. Young suggests finding intrinsic motivation by connecting your learning goals to personal interests or career aspirations. Additionally, setting up a support system, such as study groups or accountability partners, can help keep you on track. Though 9, experiment and adapt. Be open to experimenting with different learning methods and adjusting your approach based on what works best for you. Ultralearning is not a one-size-fits-all process. It requires flexibility and a willingness to adapt your strategies. Young illustrates these principles with examples from his own ultralearning projects and those of other successful ultralearners. These stories provide concrete evidence of how the strategies can be applied in real-life scenarios, making the chapter both informative and inspirational. In conclusion, Chapter 3 of Ultralearning provides a comprehensive guide to becoming an ultralearner. Scott Young offers practical steps and actionable advice to help readers design and execute their own learning projects. By following these principles, anyone can master new skills rapidly and effectively, unlocking new opportunities for personal and professional growth. Chapter 4 of Ultralearning, titled Principle 1, Metalearning, First Draw a Map, focuses on the crucial first step of any ultralearning project: understanding the subject you're about to tackle. Scott Young introduces the concept of metalearning, which involves learning how to learn by gathering information about the subject and creating a strategic plan for mastering it. Young emphasizes that before diving into a new learning endeavor, it's essential to map out the territory. This process involves researching the subject, identifying key resources, and developing a comprehensive plan. Here are several practical nuggets from this chapter. 1. Research and gather resources. Start by doing thorough research to understand the scope of the subject. Look for textbooks, online courses, academic papers, and other learning materials. Young suggests using reputable sources such as university syllabi, expert recommendations, and comprehensive guides to build a strong foundation. Identify key concepts and skills. Break down the subject into its core components. Determine the key concepts, skills, and knowledge areas that are essential for mastery. For example, if you're learning a new programming language, identify the fundamental syntax, key functions, and common algorithms. 3. Create a learning map. Develop a visual or written map that outlines the structure of the subject. This map should include major topics, subtopics, and the relationships between them. Young recommends using mind maps, outlines, or diagrams to organize the information visually. 4. Set clear objectives. Define specific, measurable goals for your learning project. These objectives should be aligned with your overall purpose and provide a clear direction for your efforts. For instance, if you're studying for a professional certification, set goals for passing each section of the exam. 5. Assess your starting point. Evaluate your current knowledge and skills related to the subject. Identify what you already know and what you need to learn. This assessment helps you tailor your learning plan to your specific needs and avoid unnecessary repetition. Plan your learning strategies. Decide on the methods and techniques you'll use to learn each component of the subject. Consider a mix of active learning, practice, and review. Young emphasizes the importance of choosing strategies that are effective for your learning style and the nature of the material. 7. Allocate time and resources. Determine how much time you'll dedicate to your learning project and what resources you'll need. Create a realistic schedule that includes regular study sessions and milestones to track your progress. Young suggests setting aside dedicated time each day or week for focused learning. 8. Monitor and adjust. As you progress, continuously monitor your learning plan and make adjustments as needed. If you encounter difficulties or discover new resources, update your map and strategies accordingly. Flexibility and adaptability are key to maintaining momentum and achieving your goals. Young illustrates these principles with examples from his own ultralearning projects and those of other successful learners. These stories demonstrate how effective metalearning can set the stage for rapid skill acquisition and deep understanding. In conclusion, Chapter 4 of Ultralearning emphasizes the importance of metalearning as the foundation of any successful learning project. By drawing a detailed map of the subject, setting clear objectives, and planning effective strategies, learners can approach their goals with confidence and direction. Scott Young's practical advice and real-life examples provide readers with the tools they need to embark on their own ultralearning journeys. In Chapter 5 of Ultralearning, titled Principle 2, Focus, Sharpen Your Knife, Scott Young delves into the crucial role of focus in the learning process. He explains that intense concentration and sustained attention are vital for deep understanding and mastery of complex subjects. This chapter provides practical strategies for cultivating focus and maintaining it throughout your ultralearning projects. Young begins by discussing the challenges of focus in today's distraction-filled world. He emphasizes that achieving a high level of focus requires deliberate effort and discipline. Here are several practical nuggets from this chapter. 1. Create an optimal learning environment. Young stresses the importance of setting up a dedicated space for learning that is free from distractions. This can be a quiet room, a library, or any place where you can concentrate fully. Ensure that your learning environment is comfortable, well-lit, and equipped with all the necessary materials. 2. Set clear boundaries. Establish clear boundaries to protect your learning time. Inform family and friends about your study schedule and minimize interruptions by turning off notifications on your devices. Creating a consistent routine helps reinforce these boundaries and makes it easier to focus. 3. Use the Pomodoro technique. Young recommends using the Pomodoro technique to manage your study sessions. This involves working in focused intervals, typically 25 minutes, followed by short breaks. This method helps maintain high levels of concentration and prevents burnout. 4. Eliminate distractions. Identify and eliminate potential distractions that can disrupt your focus. This includes turning off unnecessary devices, blocking distracting websites, and keeping your workspace tidy. Young suggests using apps or tools that can help you stay on track, such as website blockers or productivity timers. 5. Practice deep work. Engage in deep work, which involves periods of intense concentration on cognitively demanding tasks. Set aside specific times for deep work sessions where you can focus solely on your learning objectives. This practice enhances your ability to think deeply and solve complex problems. 6. Develop mental resilience. Building mental resilience is essential for maintaining focus over long periods. Young advises practicing mindfulness or meditation to improve your ability to stay present and manage stress. Regular physical exercise and adequate sleep also contribute to better focus and cognitive performance. 7. Manage your energy levels. Pay attention to your energy levels and schedule your most demanding tasks during periods when you are naturally more alert and focused. Take regular breaks to recharge, and make sure to balance intense study sessions with relaxation and leisure activities. 8. Use visualization techniques. Visualization can be a powerful tool to enhance focus. Young suggests visualizing your learning goals and the steps required to achieve them. This mental rehearsal helps clarify your objectives and reinforces your commitment to the learning process. Young illustrates these principles with examples of ultralearners who have successfully applied focus strategies to achieve their learning goals. He shares stories of individuals who have mastered complex subjects by dedicating themselves to intense, undistracted study sessions. In conclusion, Chapter 5 of Ultralearning highlights the importance of focus as a key component of effective learning. Scott Young provides readers with practical strategies to cultivate and maintain focus, emphasizing that a disciplined approach to managing attention can lead to significant improvements in learning outcomes. By sharpening their focus, learners can achieve deeper understanding, greater retention, and faster progress in their ultralearning projects. In Chapter 6 of Ultralearning, titled Principle 3, Directness, Go Straight Ahead, Scott Young emphasizes the importance of direct practice in the learning process. Directness refers to the principle of learning by doing. The idea that the most effective way to master a skill is to practice it in the context where it will be used. This chapter provides practical strategies for incorporating directness into your ultralearning projects. Young begins by explaining that traditional learning methods often involve indirect approaches, such as reading textbooks or attending lectures, which can create a gap between theoretical knowledge and practical application. He argues that direct practice bridges this gap and accelerates the learning process. Here are several practical nuggets from this chapter. 1. Engage in real-world practice. Young stresses the importance of practicing skills in real-world settings. For example, if you're learning a new language, spend time speaking with native speakers rather than just studying grammar rules. This hands-on experience helps you apply what you've learned and adapt to real-life situations. 2. Simulate the environment. When real-world practice isn't possible, simulate the environment as closely as possible. For example, if you're learning to code, work on real projects, or contribute to open-source software rather than just completing exercises. Simulating the actual conditions in which you'll use the skill enhances your ability to transfer knowledge. 3. Use project-based learning. Young advocates for project-based learning, where you undertake projects that require the application of the skills you're learning. This approach not only provides context, but also motivates you to learn more deeply as you see the tangible results of your efforts. 4. Implement the Feynman technique. Named after physicist Richard Feynman, this technique involves teaching what you've learned to someone else. Explaining concepts in your own words helps reinforce your understanding and identify any gaps in your knowledge. This direct engagement with the material solidifies your learning. 5. Immediate application. Apply new knowledge immediately after learning it. Young suggests incorporating small, frequent practices into your routine. For instance, if you're learning a musical instrument, play a piece of music right after a lesson. This immediate application reinforces neural pathways and improves retention. 6. Seek out feedback. Direct practice should be paired with immediate feedback. This helps you correct mistakes and refine your skills. Young emphasizes finding mentors, coaches, or peers who can provide constructive feedback on your performance. 7. Avoid the passive learning trap. Young warns against the passive learning trap, where you spend too much time on passive activities, like watching videos or reading, without actively practicing. He advises balancing passive learning with active hands-on practice to ensure effective skill acquisition. 8. Embrace challenges and discomfort. Direct practice often involves stepping out of your comfort zone and facing challenges head-on. Young encourages embracing this discomfort as a necessary part of the learning process. Overcoming difficulties through direct practice builds resilience and deeper competence. Young illustrates these principles with examples of ultralearners who have achieved remarkable success through direct practice. He shares stories of individuals who have rapidly mastered skills by immersing themselves in real-world environments and focusing on practical application. In conclusion, Chapter 6 of Ultralearning underscores the significance of directness in effective learning. Scott Young provides readers with practical strategies to incorporate direct practice into their learning projects, emphasizing that engaging with the material in real-world contexts leads to faster and more profound mastery. By going straight ahead and directly applying new skills, learners can bridge the gap between knowledge and application, achieving their learning goals more efficiently. In Chapter 7 of Ultralearning, titled Principle 4, Drill, Attack Your Weakest Point, Scott Young discusses the importance of focused practice on specific areas of weakness to enhance overall skill mastery. Drilling is a targeted approach to learning that involves isolating and intensively practicing the most challenging aspects of a skill. This chapter provides practical strategies for identifying and addressing these weak points effectively. Young begins by explaining that while general practice is important, it can often be inefficient if it doesn't address specific areas where improvement is needed. Drilling allows learners to concentrate their efforts on the most difficult parts, thereby accelerating overall progress. Here are several practical nuggets from this chapter. 1. Identify weak points. The first step in effective drilling is to identify the specific areas where you struggle the most. Young suggests using self-assessment, feedback from others, and performance analysis to pinpoint these weak points. For example, if you're learning to play the piano, you might notice that your left-hand technique is weaker than your right-hand technique. 2. Design targeted drills. Once you've identified your weak points, create targeted drills to practice these areas intensively. These drills should be short, focused exercises that isolate the specific skill you're trying to improve. For example, if you struggle with a particular type of problem in math, create practice problems that focus solely on that type. 3. Use interleaved practice. Young recommends interleaved practice, which involves mixing different types of drills within a practice session. This approach contrasts with blocked practice, where you practice one skill repeatedly before moving on to another. Interleaving helps improve retention and transfer of skills by keeping your brain engaged and forcing it to switch between different tasks. 4. Apply the Pareto principle. The Pareto principle, or the 80-20 rule, suggests that 80% of your results come from 20% of your efforts. Apply this principle to your drilling by focusing on the small subset of skills or knowledge areas that will have the most significant impact on your overall performance. 5. Break down complex skills. Complex skills often consist of multiple components that can be drilled separately. Young advises breaking down these skills into smaller, manageable parts and practicing each part individually before combining them. For example, if you're learning a new language, you might drill vocabulary, grammar, and pronunciation separately. 6. Track your progress. Keep track of your drilling efforts and monitor your progress over time. Young suggests maintaining a journal or log where you record your practice sessions, noting what drills you performed, how long you practiced, and any improvements you observed. This tracking helps you stay motivated and make data-driven adjustments to your practice routine. 7. Incorporate spaced repetition. To enhance retention, incorporate spaced repetition into your drilling routine. Spaced repetition involves reviewing material at increasing intervals to reinforce memory. Tools like flashcards or spaced repetition software can help automate this process and ensure that you revisit challenging concepts regularly. 8. Seek immediate feedback. Effective drilling requires immediate feedback to correct mistakes and reinforce correct techniques. Young emphasizes the importance of seeking feedback from various sources, such as instructors, peers, or even self-assessment through recordings or performance analysis. Young illustrates these principles with examples from his own learning experiences and those of other successful ultralearners. He shares stories of individuals who have used targeted drills to overcome specific challenges and achieve rapid improvements in their skills. In conclusion, Chapter 7 of Ultralearning highlights the power of drilling as a focused and efficient approach to mastering difficult aspects of any skill. Scott Young provides readers with practical strategies for identifying weak points, designing targeted drills, and incorporating effective practice techniques. By attacking your weakest points through dedicated drilling, you can accelerate your learning process and achieve greater overall proficiency in your chosen field. In Chapter VIII of Ultralearning, titled Principle 5, Retrieval, Test to Learn, Scott Young explores the concept of retrieval practice, which involves actively recalling information as a way to strengthen memory and deepen understanding. He argues that testing yourself on what you've learned is one of the most effective methods to enhance retention and mastery. This chapter offers practical strategies for incorporating retrieval practice into your ultralearning projects. Young begins by explaining the science behind retrieval practice. When you retrieve information from memory, you reinforce neural pathways and make it easier to access that information in the future. This process not only helps with retention, but also enhances your ability to apply knowledge in different contexts. Here are several practical nuggets from this chapter. 1. Self-testing. One of the most straightforward ways to practice retrieval is through self-testing. Young suggests creating flashcards, taking practice quizzes, or simply writing down what you remember about a topic without looking at your notes. Regular self-testing helps reinforce your memory and identify areas where you need further study. 2. Spaced repetition. Combine retrieval practice with spaced repetition to maximize retention. This involves reviewing material at increasing intervals over time. Tools like Anki or other spaced repetition software can help automate this process and ensure that you revisit information just as you're about to forget it, which strengthens long-term memory. Number 3. Active recall during learning sessions. Incorporate active recall into your regular study sessions. Instead of passively reading or rewatching videos, periodically stop and try to recall the main points from memory. This technique helps solidify your understanding and keeps you actively engaged with the material. 4. Teach what you learn. Teaching others is a powerful form of retrieval practice. By explaining concepts to someone else, you reinforce your own understanding and identify any gaps in your knowledge. This can be done informally with friends or through more structured environments like study groups or online forums. 5. Use practice tests. Take advantage of practice tests and exams that simulate real-world conditions. These tests provide a realistic measure of your knowledge and help you get used to the pressure of recalling information under time constraints. Review your performance on these tests to identify weak areas and focus your subsequent study efforts. 6. Apply knowledge in real-world contexts. Applying what you've learned in real-world situations is another effective way to practice retrieval. For example, if you're learning a new language, engage in conversations with native speakers. If you're learning to code, work on real projects. This practical application reinforces your learning and helps you see how theoretical knowledge translates into practical skills. 7. Use the testing effect. The testing effect refers to the phenomenon where long-term memory is increased when some of the learning period is devoted to retrieving information. Young advises incorporating frequent low-stakes quizzes and tests into your learning routine to harness this effect. 8. Mix up topics, interleaved practice. Rather than studying one topic intensely before moving on to the next, mix up your practice sessions by interleaving different subjects. This approach forces your brain to continually retrieve different types of information, which enhances learning and retention. Young supports these principles with examples from his own Ultralearning projects and those of other successful learners. He shares stories of individuals who have used retrieval practice to master complex subjects and achieve significant improvements in their skills. In conclusion, Chapter VIII of Ultralearning emphasizes the importance of retrieval practice as a powerful tool for enhancing memory and understanding. Scott Young provides readers with practical strategies to incorporate retrieval into their learning projects, highlighting how regular testing and active recall can lead to more effective and efficient learning. By making retrieval practice a central part of your study routine, you can improve retention, deepen your understanding, and achieve your learning goals more quickly. In Chapter 9 of Ultralearning, titled Principle 6, Feedback, Don't Dodge the Punches, Scott Young discusses the critical role of feedback in the learning process. He emphasizes that effective feedback is essential for identifying mistakes, correcting errors, and refining skills. This chapter provides practical strategies for seeking, receiving, and utilizing feedback to enhance your Ultralearning projects. Young begins by explaining that while feedback can sometimes be uncomfortable or challenging to hear, it is a vital component of rapid skill acquisition. He argues that avoiding feedback means missing out on opportunities for growth and improvement. Here are several practical nuggets from this chapter. 1. Seek immediate feedback. One of the most effective ways to improve is by seeking immediate feedback on your performance. This can come from various sources, including instructors, peers, mentors, or even self-assessment tools. Immediate feedback allows you to quickly identify and address mistakes before they become ingrained habits. 2. Use diverse feedback sources. Relying on a single source of feedback can limit your perspective. Young advises seeking feedback from multiple sources to gain a comprehensive understanding of your strengths and weaknesses. This can include formal feedback from experts, informal feedback from peers, and self-assessment. Different perspectives can highlight different areas for improvement. 3. Create feedback loops. Establish regular feedback loops to ensure continuous improvement. This involves setting up consistent intervals for receiving feedback and making adjustments. For example, if you're learning a new skill, schedule weekly check-ins with a mentor or use regular practice tests to gauge your progress. 4. Embrace constructive criticism. View criticism as a valuable tool for growth rather than a personal attack. Constructive criticism can pinpoint specific areas where you need to improve and provide actionable advice. Young encourages learners to approach feedback with an open mind and a willingness to learn. 5. Ask for specific feedback. General feedback can be less helpful than specific, actionable advice. When seeking feedback, ask for detailed input on particular aspects of your performance. For instance, instead of asking, "How did I do?" ask, "What specific areas do I need to improve in my presentation skills?" Use negative feedback as a guide. Negative feedback can be especially useful for identifying your weakest points. Rather than being discouraged by negative comments, use them as a guide to focus your efforts on areas that need the most improvement. Young emphasizes that acknowledging and addressing weakness is key to rapid learning. 7. Implement feedback immediately. Act on feedback as soon as possible to maximize its impact. Integrating feedback into your practice routine helps solidify new habits and corrections. Delaying action on feedback can result in forgetting or minimizing its importance. 8. Track your progress. Keep a record of the feedback you receive and the actions you take in response. This can help you monitor your improvement over time and identify patterns in the feedback. Young suggests maintaining a feedback journal where you document the feedback, your response, and the outcomes. 9. Develop a thick skin. Receiving feedback can sometimes be uncomfortable, but developing a thick skin helps you stay focused on your learning goals. Understand that feedback is not a reflection of your worth, but a tool to help you improve. Young advises developing resilience to handle criticism constructively. Young illustrates these principles with examples from his own learning experiences and those of other Ultralearners. He shares stories of individuals who have used feedback to make significant strides in their skills, demonstrating the transformative power of embracing feedback. In conclusion, Chapter 9 of Ultralearning emphasizes that feedback is an essential element of effective learning. Scott Young provides readers with practical strategies for seeking, receiving, and utilizing feedback to enhance their learning processes. By not dodging the punches and actively incorporating feedback, learners can accelerate their progress, refine their skills, and achieve their Ultralearning goals. In Chapter 10 of Ultralearning, titled Principle 7, Retention, Don't Fill a Leaky Bucket, Scott Young explores the importance of retaining knowledge over the long term. He likens ineffective learning to filling a leaky bucket, where information quickly drains away if not properly reinforced. This chapter provides practical strategies for improving retention and ensuring that what you learn stays with you. Young begins by explaining that retention is a critical aspect of learning, as it determines whether the knowledge you acquire will be available when you need it. He emphasizes that effective retention requires intentional practices that go beyond mere repetition. Here are several practical nuggets from this chapter. 1. Spaced repetition. One of the most powerful techniques for retention is spaced repetition, which involves reviewing information at increasing intervals over time. This method leverages the psychological spacing effect, helping to strengthen memory by revisiting material just as you're about to forget it. Tools like Anki and other spaced repetition software can automate this process and optimize review schedules. 2. Active recall. Instead of passively rereading notes or textbooks, engage in active recall by testing yourself on the material. This practice forces your brain to retrieve information, thereby reinforcing neural connections. Flashcards, practice quizzes, and self-testing are effective ways to incorporate active recall into your study routine. 3. Interleaving. Mix different topics or subjects during your study sessions rather than focusing on one area for a long period. Blocked practice. Interleaving helps improve retention by forcing your brain to switch between different types of information, which enhances learning and application in various contexts. 4. Elaborative interrogation. When learning new information, ask yourself why and how questions to deepen your understanding. This technique, known as elaborative interrogation, encourages you to make connections between new material and what you already know, thereby enhancing memory and retention. 5. Mnemonics and memory aids. Use mnemonics, acronyms, and other memory aids to create associations that make information easier to remember. These tools can help you recall complex information by linking it to simple, memorable cues. 6. Consistent review. Regularly review your notes and materials to keep information fresh in your mind. Establish a consistent review schedule that fits into your routine, ensuring that you revisit important concepts periodically. 7. Teach others. Teaching what you've learned to someone else is a powerful way to reinforce your understanding and memory. This process, known as the protege effect, forces you to organize your thoughts and articulate concepts clearly, thereby solidifying your knowledge. 8. Contextual learning. Learn and practice skills in the context where you will use them. Contextual learning helps create stronger memory associations by linking information to specific situations. For example, if you're learning a language, practice speaking in real-life scenarios. 9. Sleep and healthy habits. Adequate sleep is crucial for memory consolidation. Young highlights the importance of maintaining healthy habits, including proper sleep, nutrition, and exercise, as these factors significantly impact cognitive function and retention. Young illustrates these principles with examples from his own experiences and those of other successful ultralearners. He shares stories of individuals who have used these techniques to retain vast amounts of information effectively, demonstrating the practical application of these retention strategies. In conclusion, Chapter X of Ultralearning emphasizes the importance of retention in the learning process. Scott Young provides readers with practical strategies to enhance memory and ensure that knowledge is retained over the long term. By addressing the leaky bucket problem and implementing effective retention techniques, learners can achieve deeper understanding, greater proficiency, and lasting mastery of their subjects. In Chapter XIII of Ultralearning, titled Principle 8, Intuition, Dig Deep Before Building Up, Scott Young delves into the development of intuition as a key aspect of mastering complex subjects. Intuition, in this context, refers to the ability to understand and solve problems quickly and effortlessly, often without conscious reasoning. This chapter provides practical strategies for building deep understanding, which forms the foundation for developing intuitive expertise. Young begins by explaining that intuition is not an innate talent, but a skill that can be cultivated through deliberate practice and deep engagement with the material. He argues that developing intuition requires a solid understanding of fundamental concepts before moving on to more advanced topics. Here are several practical nuggets from this chapter. 1. Master the basics. To develop intuition, it is essential to have a strong grasp of the basic principles and concepts of the subject. Young suggests spending ample time on foundational material, ensuring that you understand it thoroughly before progressing to more complex topics. This deep foundational knowledge serves as the building blocks for intuitive thinking. Number 2, break down complex problems. When faced with complex problems, break them down into smaller, more manageable parts. By solving these smaller components, you can build a deeper understanding of the overall problem. This approach helps you see the connections between different elements and develop a more intuitive grasp of the subject. 3. Practice deliberately. Engage in deliberate practice, which involves focused, goal-oriented practice sessions aimed at improving specific aspects of your performance. Young emphasizes that deliberate practice should push you beyond your comfort zone and target areas where you need the most improvement. 4. Use analogies and models. Analogies and models can help you understand complex concepts by relating them to something more familiar. Young advises using these tools to build mental models that simplify and clarify difficult ideas. These models can serve as intuitive shortcuts when solving problems. 5. Engage in active problem solving. Actively solve problems related to the subject you're learning. This hands-on approach forces you to apply your knowledge and think critically. Over time, repeated problem-solving practice helps develop an intuitive sense for identifying patterns and solutions. 6. Reflect on your learning. Take time to reflect on what you've learned and how you've learned it. Reflecting on your learning process helps consolidate your understanding and reinforces the connections between different concepts. Young suggests keeping a learning journal to document your insights and progress. 7. Seek diverse perspectives. Expose yourself to different perspectives and approaches within the subject. This can involve reading different authors, exploring various methods, or discussing the material with others. Diverse perspectives can deepen your understanding and help you see the subject from multiple angles. 8. Use visualization techniques. Visualization techniques can enhance your understanding and retention of complex concepts. By visualizing processes, structures, and relationships, you can create mental images that make the material more intuitive and easier to recall. 9. Experiment and tinker. Engage in experimentation and tinkering to explore the subject more deeply. This hands-on exploration allows you to test hypotheses, learn from mistakes, and develop a more intuitive feel for how things work. Young encourages curiosity-driven experimentation as a way to deepen your understanding. Young illustrates these principles with examples from his own experiences and those of other successful ultralearners. He shares stories of individuals who have developed deep intuitive understanding in their fields through deliberate practice, reflection, and problem solving. In conclusion, Chapter 11 of Ultralearning emphasizes that developing intuition is a crucial aspect of mastering any complex subject. Scott Young provides readers with practical strategies to dig deep into the fundamentals, engage in deliberate practice, and build a strong foundation for intuitive thinking. By following these principles, learners can achieve a deeper, more intuitive understanding of their subjects, leading to greater proficiency and expertise. In Chapter 12 of Ultralearning, titled Principle 9, Experimentation, Explore Outside Your Comfort Zone, Scott Young emphasizes the importance of experimentation in the learning process. He argues that stepping outside your comfort zone and trying new approaches is essential for discovering effective learning strategies and achieving mastery. This chapter provides practical advice on how to incorporate experimentation into your ultralearning projects. Young begins by explaining that experimentation involves taking risks, testing new methods, and embracing failure as a part of the learning journey. He highlights that through experimentation, learners can find the most efficient and effective techniques for themselves, rather than sticking to conventional methods that may not work as well. Here are several practical nuggets from this chapter. 1. Embrace a growth mindset. Young encourages adopting a growth mindset where you view challenges and failures as opportunities to learn and grow. This mindset fosters a willingness to experiment and try new things without fear of making mistakes. 2. Set up experiments. Design specific experiments to test different learning strategies and techniques. For example, if you're learning a new language, you might experiment with different methods such as immersion, flashcards, or conversational practice to see which works best for you. 3. Track your results. Keep detailed records of your experiments, including what you tried, how you implemented it, and the outcomes. This data helps you analyze the effectiveness of different approaches and make informed decisions about what to continue or change. 4. Iterate and improve. Use the results of your experiments to iterate and refine your learning process. If a particular method proves effective, incorporate it into your routine. If not, adjust your approach and try something new. This iterative process helps you continuously improve and optimize your learning. 5. Challenge your assumptions. Question your assumptions about what works best for you. Experimentation allows you to test these assumptions and discover new, potentially more effective methods. Be open to the possibility that what you thought was the best way to learn may not be. 6. Combine techniques. Experiment with combining different techniques to create a customized learning approach. For instance, you might blend visual aids, hands-on practice, and spaced repetition to enhance your retention and understanding of the material. 7. Explore diverse resources. Don't limit yourself to a single source of information or method. Explore a variety of resources, including books, online courses, videos, and hands-on experiences. Experimenting with different formats can help you find the most engaging and effective ways to learn. 8. Take calculated risks. While experimentation involves risk, it's important to take calculated risks rather than reckless ones. Plan your experiments thoughtfully, considering potential challenges and how you'll address them if things don't go as expected. 9. Learn from others. Observe and learn from the experiments of others. Engage with communities of learners, read case studies, and seek out examples of successful experimentation in your field. This can provide inspiration and insights for your own experiments. Young illustrates these principles with examples from his own learning experiences and those of other successful ultralearners. He shares stories of individuals who have pushed the boundaries of traditional learning methods and achieved remarkable results through creative experimentation. In conclusion, Chapter 12 of Ultralearning underscores the value of experimentation in the learning process. Scott Young provides readers with practical strategies to explore outside their comfort zones, test new approaches, and continuously refine their learning techniques. By embracing experimentation, learners can discover more effective ways to achieve their goals, ultimately leading to greater mastery and success in their ultralearning endeavors. In Chapter 13 of Ultralearning, titled Your First Ultralearning Project, Scott Young provides a comprehensive guide for embarking on your first ultralearning journey. This chapter is designed to help readers apply the principles of ultralearning to a real-world project, offering practical steps and advice to ensure success. Young begins by emphasizing the importance of choosing a project that excites and motivates you. He argues that passion and interest in the subject matter are crucial for maintaining the intense focus and dedication required for ultralearning. The chapter is structured to take you from the initial planning stages through to the completion of your project. Here are several practical nuggets from this chapter. 1. Choose the right project. Select a project that is both challenging and meaningful to you. Young suggests considering skills or knowledge that will have a significant impact on your personal or professional life. The project should be specific and have clear, achievable goals. 2. Define clear goals. Set specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound SMART goals for your project. Clear goals provide direction and help you stay focused. For example, if you're learning a new language, a SMART goal might be to hold a 10-minute conversation with a native speaker within 3 months. 3. Create a detailed plan. Develop a comprehensive plan that outlines the steps you need to take to achieve your goals. This plan should include a timeline, milestones, and daily or weekly objectives. Young recommends breaking down the project into manageable tasks and scheduling regular check-ins to track your progress. 4. Gather resources. Identify and gather the resources you'll need for your project. This might include books, online courses, tools, and any other materials relevant to your learning. Young advises leveraging free and low-cost resources whenever possible. 5. Implement the principles of ultralearning. Apply the principles outlined in the book to your project. This includes metalearning, understanding how to learn, focus, directness, drilling, retrieval, feedback, retention, intuition, and experimentation. Each principle should be integrated into your learning strategy. 6. Monitor and adjust. Regularly review your progress and make adjustments as needed. Young emphasizes the importance of being flexible and adapting your approach based on what's working and what's not. Keep track of your successes and challenges to continuously improve your strategy. 7. Seek feedback and support. Actively seek feedback from others to help refine your skills and knowledge. This could be from mentors, peers, or online communities. Additionally, having a support system can provide motivation and accountability. 8. Document your journey. Keep a journal or log of your ultralearning project. Documenting your journey helps you reflect on your progress, identify patterns, and stay motivated. It also provides a record of your learning process that you can refer back to in the future. 9. Celebrate milestones. Recognize and celebrate your achievements along the way. Celebrating milestones helps maintain motivation and gives you a sense of accomplishment as you progress through your project. Young illustrates these steps with examples of successful ultralearning projects undertaken by himself and others. He shares stories of individuals who have achieved remarkable results by following these principles, demonstrating that ultralearning is accessible to anyone willing to put in the effort. In conclusion, Chapter 13 of Ultralearning provides a practical, step-by-step guide for starting and completing your first ultralearning project. Scott Young offers readers actionable advice on selecting a project, setting goals, creating a plan, and applying the principles of ultralearning. By following these steps, learners can effectively tackle new challenges, acquire valuable skills, and achieve significant personal and professional growth. In Chapter 14 of Ultralearning, titled An Unconventional Education, Scott Young reflects on the broader implications of ultralearning and how it can serve as a powerful alternative to traditional education. He emphasizes that ultralearning projects can provide a highly personalized and effective learning experience that goes beyond what conventional educational systems typically offer. Young begins by discussing the limitations of traditional education. He points out that conventional schooling often relies on standardized curricula, passive learning methods, and rigid structures that may not suit everyone's learning style or pace. In contrast, ultralearning allows individuals to tailor their learning experiences to their specific needs, interests, and goals. Here are several practical nuggets from this chapter. 1. Personalized learning paths. Ultralearning enables you to create a customized learning path that aligns with your personal and professional goals. Young suggests that this personalized approach allows for more efficient and effective learning, as you can focus on the areas that are most relevant to you. 2. Flexibility and autonomy. One of the key advantages of ultralearning is the flexibility it offers. You can choose what to learn, how to learn it, and at what pace. This autonomy helps maintain motivation and engagement, as you have control over your learning process. 3. Skill mastery over credentials. Young argues that in many fields, demonstrable skills and practical experience are more valuable than formal credentials. Ultralearning allows you to develop and showcase your abilities through real-world projects, which can be more impressive to potential employers or clients than traditional qualifications. 4. Cost-effective education. Ultralearning can be significantly more cost-effective than traditional education. By leveraging free or low-cost resources such as online courses, open educational materials, and public libraries, you can achieve high-quality learning outcomes without the financial burden of tuition fees. 5. Adaptability to change. In today's rapidly changing world, the ability to learn new skills quickly and adapt to new information is crucial. Ultralearning fosters this adaptability by encouraging a proactive approach to learning and continuous self-improvement. 6. Diverse learning opportunities. Ultralearning opens up a wide range of learning opportunities that might not be available in traditional educational settings. You can explore niche subjects, unconventional methods, and interdisciplinary approaches that align with your unique interests and career aspirations. 7. Developing a learning mindset. Engaging in ultralearning projects helps cultivate a lifelong learning mindset. Young emphasizes that the skills and strategies developed through ultralearning can be applied to any new challenge, making you a more versatile and resilient learner. 8. Networking and collaboration. While ultralearning is often a self-directed endeavor, it can also involve collaboration with others. Engaging with online communities, attending workshops, and seeking mentorship can enhance your learning experience and provide valuable connections in your field. Young illustrates these points with examples of individuals who have pursued unconventional educational paths through ultralearning. He shares stories of people who have successfully transitioned to new careers, started businesses, or achieved personal milestones by embracing the principles of ultralearning. In conclusion, Chapter 14 of Ultralearning highlights the potential of ultralearning as an alternative to traditional education. Scott Young provides readers with practical insights into how ultralearning can offer a more personalized, flexible, and effective approach to learning. By adopting ultralearning strategies, individuals can take control of their education, develop valuable skills, and achieve their goals in a rapidly evolving world. Review and criticism. Ultralearning, Master Hard Skills, Outsmart the Competition and Accelerate Your Career by Scott Young is a compelling and practical guide for anyone looking to take control of their learning and achieve mastery in a variety of subjects. The book is rooted in Young's personal experiences and enriched by a wealth of research, making it both an inspiring read and a valuable resource. One of the book's greatest strengths is its actionable nature. Each chapter is filled with practical strategies that readers can implement immediately. From the importance of meta-learning to the benefits of direct practice and the necessity of feedback, Young breaks down complex learning principles into understandable and applicable steps. His emphasis on self-directed learning projects is particularly empowering, encouraging readers to take charge of their education and tailor it to their specific needs and interests. Young's writing is clear and engaging, and he effectively uses real-life examples to illustrate his points. The stories of successful ultralearners provide concrete evidence of the principles in action and serve as motivational benchmarks for readers. His own experiences, such as completing the MIT challenge, add a personal touch and credibility to his advice. However, the book is not without its criticisms. Some readers may find the concepts of ultralearning to be somewhat daunting, particularly those who are used to more structured and traditional educational environments. The level of discipline and commitment required for ultralearning can be intimidating, and the book occasionally glosses over the challenges and setbacks that can arise during such intense learning endeavors. Another potential criticism is that while the book provides a comprehensive overview of ultralearning strategies, it may not delve deeply enough into each principle for readers who are looking for more detailed, scientific explanations. The focus on practical advice sometimes comes at the expense of a deeper exploration of the cognitive science behind learning. Additionally, the emphasis on rapid skill acquisition and intense focus might not resonate with everyone. For those who prefer a more balanced and less aggressive approach to learning, the ultralearning method might seem too extreme or unsustainable in the long term. The book's strategies, while effective, require a significant time and energy investment that may not be feasible for everyone, particularly those with demanding schedules or other commitments. Despite these criticisms, ultralearning is a valuable contribution to the field of self-directed learning and personal development. It challenges conventional notions of education and provides a robust framework for anyone willing to push the boundaries of their learning capabilities. Scott Young's insights are both thought-provoking and practical, making the book a worthwhile read for anyone looking to accelerate their learning and achieve their goals. Overall, Ultralearning successfully captures the essence of what it takes to master hard skills in a competitive world. It is a call to action for readers to rethink their approach to learning, embrace new challenges, and strive for continuous improvement. Whether you are a student, professional, or lifelong learner, this book offers valuable tools and inspiration to help you on your journey to becoming an ultralearner. Disclaimer: this book review reflects the personal opinions and interpretations of the reviewer. The insights and perspectives presented here are based on the reviewer's reading and understanding of Ultralearning, Master Hard Skills, Outsmart the Competition, and Accelerate Your Career by Scott Young. Readers are encouraged to read the book themselves to form their own opinions and conclusions. The review aims to provide a balanced overview and critique, but is subjective in nature. Individual experiences and outcomes with the principles and strategies discussed in the book may vary. The review is not sponsored, and no compensation was received for writing it.